Welcome to Conflict News 2042 updates for you from the Middle East, where since yesterday, Palestinian groups and Israeli military have been involved in a deadly escalation. Firstly, Egypt Gaza border, where an airstrike has been conducted. It is being confirmed by Egyptian security officials. Gaza people only have one route to leave Gaza, that is towards Egypt. Secondly, five countries have issued a joint statement announcing their united support for Israel. Five major powers of the world are united to support Israel. Iran spoke to in support of Hamas. Ali Khamenei, Iran's supreme leader, issued a statement. Thirdly, an Israeli senior officer has been killed in this war. This is third high-level death on Israeli side in this war. And lastly, two videos for you. Hamas yesterday released two videos, one showing an air defense system which is being used by Hamas and other Palestinian groups, and second video showed a manpad being used by Hamas fighters to shoot down an Israeli military plane. Firstly, viewers, we know that Gaza shares border with two countries. I briefed you in detail in the first video about Gaza and West Bank, that between Gaza and West Bank there is Israel. Gaza, small strip of land. Obviously, Israel is many times bigger than Gaza. And so far, the conflict is mainly between Gaza-based Palestinian groups and Israel. West Bank is largely not involved. Largely. Gaza shares border with two countries. To the east of Gaza, to the north of Gaza, there is Israel. To the west of Gaza, there is the Mediterranean Sea. And to the south of Gaza is Egypt. On Gaza-Egypt border, there is a Rafah border crossing. And yesterday, Israeli Defense Minister confirmed a new siege on Gaza. He said that water, food, fuel, electricity supply to Gaza has been cut off. It means that people of Gaza, and a siege has been laid around Gaza. It means people of Gaza, they cannot survive there. And we know that airstrikes are also being conducted on Gaza. Indiscriminate airstrikes, some neighborhoods completely destroyed, all houses destroyed. So what happened to civilians there, no one knows. Obviously, large-scale civilian deaths too, if people are able to report from Gaza. But obviously, international news outlets, especially European or Western news outlets, are not giving coverage to the losses caused by airstrikes on Gaza. So now when Gaza has been put under siege by Israeli military, where will people of Gaza go? Either they can go to Israel. Israel won't allow any people of Gaza on the territory controlled by its forces. Or they can move through the sea, the Mediterranean Sea. Even if they start taking boats, where will they go? And last and only option for them is to go to Egypt. That through Rafah border crossing, they should enter Egypt. Egypt, will it welcome refugees from Gaza? No. Do people of Gaza want to go? Do they want to leave Gaza? No. Why? People of Gaza, Hamas, other groups, they believe that Israel wants to expel Palestinians from Palestinian territories. So they believe that if they leave their homes, if entire Gaza is vacated by people, Israeli military would take control of Gaza, and Palestinian people would be deprived of their land. So they will keep on dying here. They won't go to Egypt. We could see only those moving into Egypt who are outsiders or who need emergency medical support, etc. So this is the situation that people are dying, they'll keep on dying. You won't see. And by the way, one airstrike has also been conducted on Rafah, close to Rafah border crossing. It has been confirmed by Egyptian security officials. No confirmation from Israeli side. How will people leave Gaza towards Egypt if airstrikes are being conducted on Rafah border crossing, close to the border area? And mostly when there is conflict in Gaza, Egypt closes its border. It does not want to be involved in this conflict. And reportedly, Egypt has closed Rafah border crossing. So people of Gaza are in Gaza while they're being bombed and they have no defense. Families, women, children, elderly, all are being hit. Gaza being turned into Arab. People say, Sajid, it happened because Hamas entered the territories of Israelis and they massacred civilians. Yes, that should be condemned. I condemn too that Hamas had no right to massacre innocent civilians in Israeli settlements. At the same time, Israel has no right to lay siege to Gaza and start indiscriminate bombing on Gaza in which people are dying indiscriminately. So both should be condemned. People of Gaza, I don't think they would leave their homes from Gaza into Egypt. Egypt already closed border. So it means that Gaza under complete siege now. To the west, Eastern Mediterranean, to the south, Egypt closed border. To the east, north, there is Israel. Secondly, viewers, 5 Western countries have joined hands to support Israel openly, publicly, without pulling any punches. They are showing their solidarity. They say they are united. They'll stay united. Which 5 countries? They issued a joint statement yesterday. US, supporter of Israel for decades since this conflict began. UK, Germany, France, Italy. Joint statement, they say that Hamas massacred innocent Israelis. It carried out terrorist attacks. And the 5 countries are united in supporting Israel. But the 5 countries recognize Palestinian aspirations for justice. And there should be equal justice served to Palestinians and Israelis. No one is condemning civilian deaths in Gaza. No one. No international major powers are condemning airstrikes on Gaza in which people are dying. Yes, Hamas facilities could be targets as well. They're being targeted. But the way hundreds of airstrikes are being conducted and entire neighborhoods have been decimated, so you can imagine what is happening to civilians there. But these Western countries are only condemning Hamas's attacks on Israeli territory. In response to this statement, Iran spoke. Hamas issued statement. Hamas rejected this 5-country statement, saying that these countries are supporting a government which has no regard for human lives. Hamas is asking Muslim countries and other countries and people of all the countries to support Hamas. Iran spoke as well. Ali Khamenei is Iran's supreme leader. He spoke around 30 minutes ago and he said that these countries never supported just struggle of Palestinians and these countries always supported Israeli regime. Ali Khamenei condemned the statement of 5 countries. Iran has clarified that it is not part of the war. It was not part of the operation when Hamas, other groups entered territories to the east of Gaza. It was a Palestinian operation. It would be a mistake to say it was a non-Palestinian operation. Iran believes that some countries are trying to drag Iran into this conflict, though Iran is part of the conflict. Iran is backing Hamas. Iran is providing weapons to Hamas. Hamas Islamic Jihad Council, Popular Resistance Committees, they cannot survive without support from Iran and other countries. So, Western bloc is united. EU countries, some, US united in their support for Israel. Middle East is divided. UAE, in a way, supported Israeli position a little 2 days ago in a statement. Saudi Arabia calling for restraint, but it is not openly condemning Israel, though it accused Israel of being responsible for this escalation. But there is no unity. No unity in the Middle East. Only Iran is speaking. We can broadly say Iran, Hezbollah of Lebanon, Syria, they are united in their condemnation of Israeli attacks. Other Middle Eastern countries, they are divided, it seems. Let's see when Arab League would meet and when they would take a stance. Will they take any big stance on this war? That remains to be seen. Another death of a top Israeli officer. 2 colonels died, we know that I reported yesterday. 2 Israeli army colonels have been killed in this war so far. Third high-profile death of an Israeli officer confirmed by Israeli military. He is deputy commander of 300th Brigade. His name is Lieutenant Colonel Alim Abdullah. Alim Abdullah has been killed in this war. So 2 colonels, 1 lieutenant colonel, 3 have died in this war on Israeli side so far. Obviously, they have lost their soldiers too. I think around 50 casualties confirmed of IDF so far. And we know that total number of casualties on Israeli side is around 800. But most of the killed were civilians. Yes, some soldiers were killed too, but hundreds of civilians were killed and abducted by Hamas fighters. Hamas yesterday threatened to execute hostages. So far, no execution. It has not happened so far. Lastly, 2 videos were published by Hamas yesterday showing their capabilities. One video showed an air defense system indigenously manufactured, Motabar of 1. And second video showed a Hamas fighter trying to engage an Israeli plane through a man-portable air defense system. This is the air defense which Hamas has. That its fighters have a few man-pads, and man-pads can only target low-flying aircrafts and helicopters. Man-pads cannot counter F-16 or other or even high-flying drones too. Same is the case with the Motabar air defense system, short range and not very modern. It cannot defend Gaza, and that is why we're saying that hundreds of airstrikes are being conducted on Gaza. Hamas is unable to defend. So Hamas has basically no air defense capabilities. It can launch offensive operations like a commando unit, like a small infantry with small weapons, but it is not an army. It does not have tanks. It has no artillery pieces, no helicopters, no fighter jets. Drones, yes, Hamas has drones, mainly kamikaze drones and others. But Hamas, and it has no navy as well. It has a few boats. It has no frigates, no submarines, etc. So there is no comparison militarily between Hamas, Palestinian groups, and Israeli military. Israel is a very advanced nation militarily. Let's see how this war ends. 2 clips for you showing an air defense system and a man-pad being used by Palestinian fighters against Israeli forces. Thank you for watching.